Hello everyone, welcome to the third beta test for the Dodonpachi on Mr. FPGA core. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This will be really interesting. I believe he's made some changes, at least as far as beta 2's crazy glitches and stuff, so it'll be cool to check this out. Oh, sorry about that echo there. Alrighty everyone, so give me one moment and we'll get rolling. Okay, cool. I've got chat pulled up so I can see the chat now. Let's do it. So for fun, I thought I'd try playing CL instead of CS. CS is my usual ship that I play, but CL's the ship that I used to play. Got the 2-all with it. So I did take the time to add some auto fire to my arcade stick because it looks like he's still not able to get the C button auto fire within the game to work. So I thought, hey, I'll try to manually do it with my arcade stick, which is an improvement over the Mr. Auto Fire situation, but it still isn't quite correct because it doesn't switch over smoothly like it should still. So it's a slight improvement, but still that C button auto fire is going to be really nice once we get it. Oh jeez. See that the audio is still kind of struggling. The game seems to scroll more smoothly now, though. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Did those stars fall? I think the stars are falling. Yeah, I saw that he still has the issue with the sprite and the health bar. So a lot of this stuff that I've mentioned in beta 2 I won't repeat here because he's fully aware of them. But what I will do is I'll mostly be paying attention to if the slowdown seems more accurate or not, because before the slowdown was definitely not accurate and there was some scrolling issues. So I think that's the main thing I'm going to be focusing on. Of course, seeing if there are any major glitches or anything like that. I'm still playing on the international ROM because he did include one for the Japanese ROM, but I couldn't get it to boot. And it's probably just a matter of me configuring it more and all that sort of thing, but I'll worry about that later. So right now I'm still on the international ROM. Audio seems to be a little bit more improved since last time, but still struggling.
Power up.
As you can see, I'm not really going for chaining here, just playing for survival. So in order to get the loop, I need to not die. Or chain the holopel, basically. Audio coming back in there. It's crazy how powerful CL is with its laser. Oh! That was kind of bad. Let's just restart it. It'll be really nice when we finally get functioning auto fire.
Select your battle fighter. Okay. Countdown begins.
The input lag feels good. I should actually do an input lag test here soon, but it does feel solid. I would guess around 3 frames would be my guess. potentially 2, but I'm thinking more along the lines of 3. But I'll need to, I should test it here soon. But it does feel good though. No SDOJ type issues. So arcade is essentially 2 frames. So it is potentially 2 frames. We'll have to check and see.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Ready?
Forget how powerful CL is. Laser didn't come out, damn it. That's close.
Power up.
Slowdown feels pretty good so far. I'm really curious to see how it feels later we get. Notably like the hollow pellet and stuff like that. Tricky to switch shots in these sections. Okay. There's still that kind of loading glitch issue with the boss. Love that drum in this track. I don't want to damage him too much because he does like this crazy attack if you damage him. Okay, perfect. That ought to basically be it. Go. Yeah, the bullets are awesome. Cave bullets are the best, right? Or among the best. Here we go. Stage 3. Too bad at least we got music. Too bad we can't get sound effects too, but definitely making improvements with the audio. Definitely making improvements, I can tell. Almost at full power, or I think we might be at full power now, finally. Now we are, I think. We weren't before. Okay, last time the bullet speeds were... Okay, yeah, they're seeming more accurate now. They're seeming more accurate. Last time they were like hyper speed. Okay, this next section I might die in because I'm going to try and milk the points, or try and milk the section a little bit, just to see how the slowdown responds. But I don't usually do it with CL, so I might be completely off of my routing here. Seems more accurate. Oh, okay, no. That should not have happened. Now I'm back to a little baby shot. This shit type. It's fun though. No voice sample. Oh man, it's back! Am I playing the old beta? I loaded the new beta on here. Am I on the old beta still? I did load it on here. Let's see. Maybe it'll go away. I downloaded the new beta and put it on here though. I'm sure of it. We'll see. Okay, if this persists, okay. This was in the old beta, so is it not fixed? Or did I somehow load the old beta even though I deleted it off my card? I don't see how this could... I really don't see how I could be playing the old beta though. I literally deleted it off my card. We'll see. Maybe we'll see what happens here. The real question is if this glitch is still in stage 6 or not. Because this was the issue with the last beta. I went through and deleted all the files off my card though. All the Dodonpachi files off there. I believe. Maybe the old file's still somehow loading? Maybe? Because this is the old file, I think. We'll see when we get to stage... stage 6. Getting the feeling somehow the old beta survived. That was scary. Okay. Yeah, that was a great boss fight, wasn't it? Okay. Let's see what happens here. Because this is different than last time, a little bit. So we'll see. And if it does that stage 6 glitch again, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna get up and throw my SD card back in just to triple check that I'm using the new stuff, even though I don't see how I'm not, just in case. I think to make this loop, I have to basically chain the... Oh, no. I've only died once, though, right? So I guess if I just don't die again, I might make the loop. Risk reward right here. I haven't played... So I think I just cannot die another time. And I'll still live. Maybe I'll play AL next just for fun. Try and no miss AL first loop with bad auto fire settings. Okay, the moment of truth. Well, after we fight the boss. See the help. There we go. AL eats that guy alive. Okay, here's the question. Is it broken? Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, maybe in some crazy way, the old core, the old beta is still on there and it loaded it somehow. So hang tight. Sorry, stream, hang tight. I gotta get up for a sec and double check this SD card. So you're going to be staring at a blank screen, sorry. Be back very shortly. Alrighty, I'm back. I think I got it fixed. So we shall see here. Sorry about that, chat. That wasn't too long of a delay, though, just a minute or so. Okay, so I think I figured out what the problem was. So let's try this again. Oh. Actually, I don't think that was the right one. Sorry. I have like a bunch of different ones. Let's try this now. See, I cannot get the... I cannot get the Japanese ROM to load, see? Okay. Anyway, let's try see if it do the international. See, so look, Cave 2012 29. Okay, so that's the latest one. Let's do it. Okay, so hopefully this is now the correct update here. And I need to turbo my button. Okay.
Select your battle fighter. Okay.
Let's try this.
The countdown begins.
Play a little AL, why not? So far the audio is about the same, right? Scrolling seems smooth, input seems smooth, audio's still struggling. Those aren't falling, they're supposed to fall down.
You are approaching the target of attack. The mission starts now. Are you ready?
It can't be. Let's see if we get those graphical glitches. Because I just swapped it. It's like no human way it's not different. Right? Or hold on a sec. Sorry, I'm gonna double check. Okay, I'm gonna double check one more time, sorry. I'm gonna double check one more time, just in case. Hang tight. I'll be one sec. I have to literally get up and run over to my other computer. Alrighty. That should fix it. My SD card is such a pile of folders and branching paths and shit. That it gets confusing. So hopefully, I went through my entire SD card and hunted down every instance where it could possibly need to be changed. So hopefully, it behaves itself now. Okay. Probably the sign will be if it'll load the Japanese version. Come on. No. It's not loading the Japanese version still, but I could just be messing up with that. Anyway. It could just be my ROM's bad for the Japanese version. Core. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Okay. I wish there was like a little way I could double, triple check immediately, but let's do this again. I'm gonna just play CS while I'm at it anyway. Since that's the ship I play all the time. Work, damn you.
Select your battle fighter. Okay. The countdown begins. 1, go.
Stars should fall. Audio's better, right? Audio's better, right? It's like working. It seems to be working-ish. Working-ish. So that's good. It'll be interesting to see how it holds out as we get to the next stage. I am pretty sure those stars are supposed to fall. Pretty sure.
You are approaching the target of attack. The mission starts now.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Good. Yeah. Still having issues with the life bar being on the bottom layer of the sprite.
Just up on the first shot.
Alright, here I go. I'll try to change the stage. Just manually. Yeah, the music in Dodonpachi is great. There just needed to be like 2 more tracks. Instead of recycling the same tracks over and over, they needed to just add 2 more. If they ever do an M2 port, that should be priority number 1. Add more music tracks, for the love of God. That was pretty clutch. Almost there. It's hard to chain this manually mashing out the combos. Or mashing out the shot. Yeah, we're very close now. here. Got it. Okay, we are now guaranteed second loop. So good. So I don't have to worry about if I die or not. Unless like game over, but that would be pretty insane.
Mission starts now. Are you ready?
Damn you, mister, forcing me to learn how to play without autofire. Something I never do. It's against my morals to play without autofire. Good slowdown, good slowdown. Seems more accurate. Oh, we got death explosion sound effects. It was kind of actually good that I played the old beta for a bit, so I remembered what the differences were. Yes, so the old beta did not have death explosion sound effects. Stage 3. Wow, the audio is definitely improved. This is impressive. The improvements to the audio. Like, very impressive. We're getting music and sound effects at the same time. That's what I'm talking about. So it'll be interesting to see how the slowdown acts. As we saw last time, the slowdown was a little inaccurate, to say the least. Let's see how it acts this time. Okay. It's a little suspicious still. Let's try on the needle section. And the game moves very smoothly. Feels very responsive. Now the next part is when he gets this working is to create a campaign to allow the Japanese for me to use it. So that's the next hurdle, is even if it works, the Japanese won't let me use it, I don't think. Unless it gets so accurate it's indistinguishable, then I build a fake PCB. And look, I'm playing on a PCB. Totally playing on a PCB here. Maybe that's the next. Maybe that's the meta. Because once it gets so accurate, it's indistinguishable. I'll just build a fake PCB and be like, oh no, I totally own Dodonpachi. It's right here. That slowdown seems much better than before. The bullets didn't speed up randomly and kill me. My little baby chain. Nope, never mind. Type C is pretty sick. So, a lot of people think that Type C, oh look, it's fixed. A lot of people think that Type C CS is a really easy ship, and it feels that way when you start playing it because the shot is so OP. But once you start playing it a lot more, and you realize how weak the laser is, how insanely weak the laser is, Type C's CS is actually a fairly technical, challenging ship to play. It just doesn't seem that way because there are certain sections that Type CS just plows through that other ships can't, like the Hall of Hell. But then there's other sections that other ships have less issues with that are real tough for CS. Like the tank opener in Stage 5. Or just the openings in Stage 6 in general. CS struggles with that. And of course, the ridiculous boss fights. Like 2-3's a freaking nightmare with CS. Way harder than with any of the other ships. And that's the hardest boss, score-wise. So that's a major hurdle. So the ship seems like an easy mode when you first start playing it, then you start to realize, oh no, it's not. It's actually a really challenging ship to use. And the boss fights just go on and on, as you can see here. I think CL's the much better, like, like the much more well-rounded ship. And I'm considering switching over to CL or AL after I get 400 mil CS. I'm considering it. Because I do think 600 mil CS is going to be tough. Mostly because of 2-3 boss. That fight just sucks. Hey, we can see the stage. So, soundtrack issues, but at least we can still see the stage. That's good. This thing's so stupid. It's basically impossible for me to do without autofire, though. It's not impossible in itself, but I don't practice non-autofire routing here, so I don't have those hammer trigger fingers to constantly do that all the time. Sound of silence. At least we get sound effects though, that's nice. But it's kind of working. I hate this part right here. This part right there sucks. This part isn't too bad. If you get right here, this is kind of like a safer zone to be in.
You are approaching the target of attack. The mission starts now. Are you ready?
I'm not gonna bother with the glitch here. I'm just gonna kill him. I noticed Airbo and a lot of the other CS players don't really bother with the glitch in Stage 1, and I'm starting to see why. Like, CS has an especially hard time setting it up. And it's almost easier just not to do it. Second loop though, you gotta do it, because that boss is crazy. I think we got it here. No more white blanket of death. No more. I can't make that excuse anymore. That was impressive, though. I got the 1-all that one time where I couldn't see the stage. Oh, boy. Audio's struggling. Oh, slowdown feels better. We are getting slowdown. It does feel better. Ooh. I don't know why I'm not routing it. Just kind of like freestyling here. I should have routed this out better. So I can bomb the Hall of Hell since I already got the loop requirement. So I probably will. Though the Hall of Hell with CS in Loop 1, when you know the route, isn't all that challenging, all things considered. It's all about first taking out these tanks efficiently, taking out the bunker. Now, I found a pretty consistent trick to this. There it is. I think I nailed it. Yeah, there we go. I nailed it. Watch this. Hey, I got the loop requirement again. Scary. Cool.
You are approaching the target of attack.
Oh, that's a great question. Why do I like Dodonpachi so much? Well, I think the thing about it is it's a nice blend of simplicity with brutality. That's probably why I like it. Because it's actually a pretty simple game, but it's just unbelievably brutal. And so when you get scores in it, it just feels very meaningful. Like, the thing about a lot of games is you sit and you wonder, how do I route this? How do I do that? How do I do this? Dodonpachi, you don't wonder those things. All you wonder is, how do I not, you know, die? How do I not drop my chain? It's a little more straightforward. And I kind of do like how absolutely brutal and punishing it is. For some masochistic reason. And also just then there's just the basics of the stage design being so fantastic. The boss fights being that perfect blend of complex and also a little bit broken, where you can like do jank stuff to the bosses and stuff. It just literally hits all of my particular tastes for the genre. Where it's a bullet hell, but it's also got some high-speed action and stuff like that. It's not full-on like Toho-style bullet hell. I think my favorite two shmups are probably... Well, Dodonpachi is absolutely my favorite, and then after that's probably Garega. And they are sort of related to each other in a way, where Dodonpachi was pretty heavily inspired by Garega. And while I'm yammering on, I took a death there. An unnecessary one. It's hard to exactly articulate why I like Dodonpachi so much. there's also just a sort of underlying X factor to the game. I actually don't know why I died there. That was weird. There's also some random elements in the game. People forget that. People think that it's a cave game, so it's like straightforward. It doesn't have RNG. No, it has some RNG. 2-3 boss. The RNG in the game is basically like, it's still possible. It's just harder. It's just how easy the game is going to be on you. This will be fun. I could bomb, of course. But... Oh, we've talked about it a lot on the Discord. How it's determined. It's basically 100%. From what I understand, it's kind of complicated, but from what I understand, it's just purely random. At the end of the day, you can't manipulate it, really. And it's like particularly weird. I remember Elefante talked. If you want to know 100% like the ins and outs, I thought I could get around that. Elefante talks about it in the Rev 2020 server in the Discord in the Dodonpachi channel. He talks about it. Just search up him. But from what I understand, it's basically random. Oh, 2-3. Forgot about 2-3 mid boss. That's another huge point of RNG. Where you could get a really kind pattern or a pattern that kills you. That one's probably the biggest RNG element of them all. This part sucks with CS. Because not only does it go on forever, because you do hardly any damage compared to the other ships, but you also struggle to dodge the bullets because you're so turtle slow. So you have to basically be 100% precise with your dodging. I think, so I started with Dodonpachi. What I'm talking about is mostly for scoring. I think Dodonpachi is a fantastic game to learn the genre survival-wise. Just like just playing for 1 credit clear or a 2-all. That's pretty heavy duty, but 1 credit clear and some of the second loop. I think it's fantastic because you can basically completely override all the RNG elements with just bombs. Like, you can just bomb certain patterns, stuff like that, or if you get in trouble, you can just bomb your way out. This takes a while. So far, it seems like the slowdown has been much more accurate. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're rolling into the second loop though. Oh yeah, I play a lot of Dodonpachi, a lot. So cruising through the first loops. I forget how it's pretty challenging, but if you play the game for like 3,000 hours or however many I have at this point, it gets to be pretty second nature. Here we go into the second loop. This will be really interesting to see how the game changes now. Like how accurate the game is now. For those who don't know, Dodonpachi has a second loop, and it's harder than the first loop. Significantly harder. This is RNG right here. And I got a good roll. That was very good. You can sometimes get a really filthy pattern that's really hard to dodge. I'm not gonna 1cc this, by the way. There's absolutely no way. This is just to test the second loop.
Mission starts now. Are you ready?
I think the slowdown is still a little, there isn't quite enough. I think it's still a little light. Oh, kill pattern. Stage 2-2. Gotta be really on point for this one. Oh, shoutouts to me, that was good. So you have to switch it around a little bit. Suppressive fire, that's what it's all about. No! Flew into the bullet. No, the worst feeling in shmups. Kind of a safe spot right here. The other ships can laser right here. CS can't. You have to make a little dodge there. Gotta love the bomb. That was a little weird. Something was up there. That felt a little off. Okay, here's 2-3, so I'll show you what I mean with the RNG. Okay, that is actually more slowdown than you normally get. So that was unusually easy. I am playing on international version though, so it could just be international version. That's another factor. After this, I'll try the Japanese ROM again and see if I get it to boot. It might just be, you know, my ROM isn't compatible with the one he wants. That was close. The slowdown still feels a little funky to me. It's not totally bad, but it feels a little off. Here we go, everyone's favorite boss, 2-3. I'll try my usual setup, it's been a while. This is just on arcade difficulty. This is the second loop though, so the second loop is harder than the first loop. Okay, there should have been slowdown there, for sure. That was a little incorrect. There should be slowdown right here, so that's a problem. I'll try and fight this a little more just to see how the slowdown behaves. It's because of those patterns. They're absolutely absurd to try and dodge. Yeah, it's just default. You don't really play Dodonpachi on different settings. Like, people don't do that necessarily. You just play on arcade, original default. Oh, my laser didn't come out. I would have had it, but my laser didn't come out. This is the auto fire thing. This is completely off route now. Oh, oops. The corner's kind of safe.
You are approaching the target of attack. Mission starts now. Are you ready?
I don't know. Just name recognition, brand recognition. I really don't know because the Mister's awesome. Yeah. And it's got like the form factor. It's like all that sort of thing. Which doesn't mean a lot to me, but it means a lot to like retro collectors and people of that type usually. Yeah, that's right. Non-DIY, right? Name recognition, all that good stuff. Yeah, definitely. 2-5. This is a toughie. Like, significantly harder than 2-4. Oh, okay. Get around. Love how easy that chain is in the second loop. You just hold shot. Oh boy. Here we go, Hall of Hell Loop 2. This is where it gets real nasty. Ah, come on. I had it. I'm gonna try again, even if I die. Okay, the Mister's kind of freaking out a little bit. We made it through that. Whoops. I forgot. Flying it like it was first loop. There is like no slowdown there. That's supposed to have slowdown. So that's a little less than. See, CS actually really struggles in this opening bit here. What the okay. The game's being a little crazy now. How did that not come? That should have slowdown. That was a problem right there. There should be slowdown here. More than this. That's moving kind of fast. I wonder how hard it's going to be to get the slowdown just right. Should be slow down there. It wasn't. This is gonna be tough.
Mission starts now.
Oh, that
Are you ready?
Yeah, that'll make sense. That'll be the next big challenge, is getting those timings right. Because the game in the second loop is kind of unplayable, to be honest. Like that's moving way too fast. Let's see if we get it. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we can't. Nope. Sometimes you can get a safe spot there. I don't think it's luck-based, but you just have to have a very particular setup to do it. Okay. Yeah, it's hauling. Extend. Time for the Big B. It takes a while for Big B to load. It'll be a while. There it is. Ooh, we don't want that. So on Big B, you don't want to use that bomb. You want to use the regular bomb. He's basically the only boss like that. Whoops. And as I say that, I keep using the wrong bomb.
Power up.
That ought to do it. It's all up, like, I think Dodonpachi means like B boss or something like that, like a big B boss or something. Bees are like a theme of the game. Why, I'm not sure. It's kind of a shmup thing though, like different shmups have different themes. Like, think of Darius has all these fish and stuff. Maybe it's a Japanese thing. I'll chalk it up to that. If you hold that against the side like this, you can kind of, well,
Power up.
you have a better chance, I should say. Oh, damn it. I should have switched to laser, but I'm used to shots. That's alright. Oh boy. It's gonna speed up. Or bomb. Kinda have to bomb before it speeds up.
Power up. Power up.
Of course, CS has to go through like 2 cycles, 3 cycles sometimes. It does no freaking damage. You get kind of a little bit point blank here. Should go into his final attack here. There it is. We can get a point blank on him. Switch to laser.
Power up.
I just have to get used to the higher movement speed. Gotta love how slow the attack is, though. It's international, though. That's part of the reason why. Oh,
Power up.
he's low on the screen. I should just bomb where he's low on the screen like that. I'll bomb him out here. think it's Patreon only still. I'm a patron, so I think it's only Patreon only. And then the game will crash, I think, right here. This is where the game crashes. It never gets off the screen. Yeah, the infamous Hibachi final attack. Crazy pattern. Spent quite possibly hundreds of hours practicing that last pattern. Okay, for fun, for the video, because I want to make this a little bit of a highlight video, why don't I... Doesn't want to reset, does it? Let's try Japan for a sec. Why don't I, What? That's not Japan. Or is it? Let's see. It will say full extent of the jam if it's Japan. No, this is international. There's no jam. Let's see if we can get... Yeah, if it's not jam, it ain't right. I couldn't get Japan to load. It could just be my ROM. It doesn't match up with the ROM it wants, though, you know. There's a bunch of different types of ROMs out there. Let's give it a sec. Sometimes it takes a while to load stuff. Not looking good, though. Let's switch core.
Presented by
Whoa, I'm hearing sounds.
Select your battle
Okay,
fighter.
so you can't see it. Let's try loading a different core real quick. Just to refresh it. Okay. Now let's load arcade. Don't jump Japan. See if it does it this time. So I thought for fun, for the highlight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a clear with BS, which is a crazy ship type. Yeah, they have a lot of really funny English mistranslations in Dodonpachi, actually, which I enjoy greatly. I don't think we're gonna get it. Probably just ROMs don't match or whatever. So we'll go with international here. Okay, we're gonna play an absolutely crazy ship type. The meme ship type. We can get the game to load. Uh-oh, I think it crashed. I think I killed it. I gotta restart it. Yeah, Blazing Star does have great English. Okay. So, this will be for the YouTube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a BS clear. And I'll talk about the what we've learned Hello everyone checking out the video, and shout outs to everyone in the stream. We've been at this for about an hour and a half, and this was going to be the highlight for the general audience, hopefully. So I have been testing out the Dodonpachi FPGA Mr. Beta version 3. There have definitely been some big improvements, and so for this little highlight here, I plan to do a one-all using everyone's favorite, the meme of them all, BS. And I'll talk about the changes since Beta 2 and the changes that still need to happen as we go. So let's do it.
So next, your battle type.
This ship type is pretty crazy because the guns don't work like they do in DFK or SDOJ. They have this kind of weird delay on them, to where they'll kind of just point in this weird, like, sweeping motion. It makes them very hard to control. But other than that, the ship's actually kind of good. It has a really fast laser startup for a shot type. It also has some decent movement speed. So maybe someday I'll get good enough to control this crazy gun on this ship. So far, the music has definitely improved since the first beta, though you can't quite tell right now. I've noticed from run to run, it'll sometimes behave itself and sometimes won't. But we're getting more consistent soundtrack and sound effects playing at the same time.
Mission starts now. Are you ready?
No, this is not the Japanese version. This is still international. I tried to play on the Japanese version, but I couldn't get it to load. But that might just be because I was using a different ROM than the ROM it wants. I didn't quite research what ROM it wants. You know, there could be a MAME ROM or it could be an FPGA ROM. I think I was using a MAME ROM because I figured that's probably what it wants, but it might be just too old of a MAME ROM or whatever, you know. So I think it's okay for me to be playing the international version now. The real big difference is that with the international version, some of the second loop stuff is different, but for the purposes of this run, it really makes no difference because the first loop of international is basically identical to the first loop of Japan, at least as far as I'm aware. So far, so good. Trying to get this with as few deaths as possible, obviously. I'm not going to be chaining because I actually have no idea how to chain BS. It's probably not all that different from CS other than figuring out how to use its crazy gun setup. It would be cool if someone ROM hacked Dodonpachi and simply changed BS to be like its DFK version, because if so, I would definitely play that. I love the DFK version of the B ship, where the gun rotates along with you in a more direct manner than with this one, where it has a bit of a mind of its own. So we're not really getting our soundtrack. The first time I played the beta, I was getting soundtrack. But like I said, it seems to fluctuate from run to run. We are getting more consistent sound effects, though. The slowdown, especially in the second loop, I was testing the second loop, is still pretty inaccurate. It's not completely off. It's not like Sega Saturn bad, but it's still pretty much inaccurate from how it's supposed to work. Especially when you get into the second loop, it's really noticeable. Certain patterns just fly at you full speed. You're like, oh, wait a minute. From what I understand, BS has a more powerful laser than CS, so these boss fights should actually be easier. The extra movement speed helps too. CS laser is painfully slow. we go. And we have a death explosion sound effect. In the previous beta, you weren't getting that, so big improvement there. Now, hopefully, we'll come into stage 3 with the OST playing. Yeah, there we go. Pretty slick gun movement, I thought, right there. All things considered. If you kind of wiggle, you can sort of simulate what it's like to play CS. Legend has been said that if you go into the Hall of Hell with BS and you wiggle around, you can basically just sit down there and wiggle through it. I haven't been able to replicate that myself, but I heard Airbo used to do that. So unfortunately, like with the last beta, the service menu is not accessible, so I'm not able to activate the native autofire. So I put autofire on my arcade stick on a hardware level, but the problem with that is that it still doesn't allow you to quick switch between them smoothly like you can with the C button, where when it's with the C button, if you put both buttons down, it'll go to laser, which is what you want. But with this, you need to release the turbo button completely before going to laser, which is a problem. It makes it way harder to chain and way harder to shot switch effectively. So I've already tested the slowdown, and like I said, it's fairly inaccurate, so no need to put myself at extra risk in this section by milking it. Normally what you do, though, is you milk it for big cancels, big fat cancels. I think we can all agree that the B ship has the coolest bomb animation. It is a pretty swag ship, it's just the damn gun would behave itself. I would absolutely love it. Maybe I'll have to explore B ship more, see if I can find some more strategies on managing its gun a little bit more effectively. Maybe there's some crazy stuff you can do. It has an absolutely mighty shot, though. That center shot does damage. So in the previous beta, this is when the glitchiness began, where that white screen would like hide the boss. White screen has now been patched away, thank you. So I shall be able to see as I play. Earlier in the stream, someone asked about how the input lag feels. I haven't busted out the light camera yet, but overall it feels very responsive. I would guess 2 to 3 frames, that would be my guess. The Mister tends to just be very responsive with all the stuff that I've used on it so far, which I really appreciate, obviously. But yeah, extremely playable, no doubt about it. One thing about the Mister that kind of makes me sad is that even when it gets perfected, I'm not sure how much I'll be able to use it because the Japanese events don't allow for emulation, and I'm assuming they'll put Mister on that list. So I was saying he needs to make it so accurate that I can build like a fake dummy PCB and just pretend and put my Mister inside it and just pretend it is a PCB. Like, oh yeah, this is totally a cave Dodonpachi PCB, absolutely. Don't mind the HDMI port in the back of it. That's just my mod. My HDMI upscale mod, right? Because I refuse to play the PlayStation or Saturn versions of Dodonpachi in those events. They are absolutely inaccurate and broken. As I explained in that video that I did comparing homes. Uh-oh, out of bombs. I need to remember not to bomb anymore. So far, so good. No deaths. The soundtrack kind of took a nosedive, but at least we still get sound effects here. This is a second loop strat. But it works in the first loop if you're not trying to chain. The problem is basically in these types of sections where you need to move over and the gun just sweeps all the way to the side. It's like, okay, what are you gonna hit all the way over there, homie? You're not hitting anything. So it'd be cool to find some kind of like trick to prevent it from doing that. I guess if you tap dodge just right, it tends not to do that as much. If you like wiggle. I do wonder if there's some kind of secret that you could tap into. Just wiggle your way across the screen. There's my bomb. I don't want to pick it up though. I want to save it. Okay. So I'm not going to go for the glitch on this guy. I don't know how to set up with VS, and I've gotten fairly good at fighting him glitchless. I've noticed some CS players, I think Airbow, for instance, didn't even go for the glitch in the first loop. Second loop, you gotta, because he's crazy. Second loop, but first loop, it's like, maybe it's not all that worth it. At least with this ship type. With AL and like the laser ship types, it's definitely worth it because it's really easy to set up. But with the shot ship type, it's a little less clear if it's worth it or not, I think. Why not? So normally when you're playing Dodonpachi for score, you can't bomb, ever. Until the very end, so that strategy was not viable for scoring. Yeah. Well, here we go. We're about to put that to the test here, because this is a section where I'm gonna need to do a lot of shimmying. It's kind of working. You can probably hear me smacking my arcade stick around. Problem is, you just can't move around fast enough doing that. I bet it makes chaining an absolute nightmare. I'm just gonna put that out there. Like with how precise chaining is in this game, and you're like trying to just move over and you turn and fire at some thing you need to keep alive. It's like, nah, come on now. The one game with incredibly strict chaining is the one you give the guy like this highly spinning gun. That's just sabotage is what it is. Okay, I gotta no bomb this now. So far I haven't died, I don't think. It is possible for me to no miss this. I'm not really that familiar with doing it with this ship, but theoretically I could do it. I know how to beat all the bosses without bombs and stuff. This next bit will be the real hard part though. Oh, I screwed that up. Luck. There was some real luck there. I didn't do the wiggle technique, I just realized. Oh boy. Good thing BS has a pretty powerful laser. And a pretty fast switch too. Like CS going from shot to laser takes forever. But BS is actually pretty fast. Apparently this was the ship that discovered the glitch. BS player.
You are approaching R7 attack. Mission starts now. Are you ready?
Okay, let's no miss him here. This is gonna be kind of tricky. Especially this next coming part. Please don't hit me. I don't know if I'm gonna get hit here. Oh, okay, it worked. This part's kind of tricky. Oh, barely, yeah. Hardware malfunction. I will not bomb. I want to save my bombs. I think I almost flew into a bolt there. I'm flying CS rounds, so I'm not sure how effective they're actually going to be. I could have potentially dodged that, but that's one of those crazy dodges. But I think you could theoretically squeeze through that. This would be interesting. Stage 6 runs pretty well so far. Some sections are definitely missing slowdown, but at least I can see the stage. And the last one, right, that had that blanket on the top of the screen, I can see. Okay. Can we make this a one miss? This pattern's tricky. Didn't line it up right. You gotta line that up just right. Here we go, the Ninja Stars. These are tough because I think they're a little faster than an arcade, or than in, you know, non-Mister. I think they're missing a little slowdown. Oh boy, like way out of position. Nice thing is at least BS got a little bit more speed to move around, get around these patterns. The CS just can't. Come on now. Ah! Cornered. Cornered. Yes! That was almost a no miss. Potentially, had that last pattern in a stage 5 not been missing slowdown. Thanks, my dude. Awesome. Definitely a huge improvement. Huge improvement. So I think the next frontier for the beta is definitely getting that slowdown right. And of course, continuing the audio. But, you know, other than that, I think there are still a few things here and there, like parts where stars don't drop from the tanks and stuff. But, I mean, that's not the biggest deal. The big one is getting that slowdown and getting the audio, I think. Yeah, thanks, my dudes. I don't plan on playing the second loop with BS. That sounds like a real tough time. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and hope you all enjoyed it. Hey, thanks for coming by. Well, just in time, because this is where the stream ends anyway. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see the slowdown being kind of like the final frontier of the project. The last thing you kind of hone in on. At least the chain works, right? Unlike the Saturn and PS1 versions. Hey, you too, Rex. Thanks, my dude. Yeah, and keep up the great work. Josh. Sorry about to slap my mic there. Keep up the great work. This is really, really cool. The final frontier, though, is you got to get it so accurate that I can trick the Japanese players into thinking I'm playing on PCB. So they'll let me into their events. Adios, everyone. I'm kidding about that, by the way. I won't actually trick them. So people know. Just so that's clear.